Hi, I'm Krista, and this is
Nick.
And we're going to be talking about Nick Gandiello's amazing play, Cicada, and the upcoming reading on May 7th. Okay, Nick, will you tell us about your play, and without giving away any more spoilers?
Sure. So Cicada is about Benedetta Sigliano, and she is riding this wave of political engagement, hoping to win the seat of her district's county executive. While she's running her campaign, she's also meeting her daughter's fiance and sort of balancing out her very volatile son and delicately reintegrating her ex-husband into this new home she's built with her boyfriend, Greg. The opposing campaign ends up using this past trauma in her life to smear her. So she and the whole family have to decide how they're going to present themselves to the public and how they're going to present this pain they've been carrying to the public, which ultimately reveals there is this underlying pain that they haven't been dealing with, and they are forced to confront it.
Where did it come from?
It's a great question. I think it came from me being a little dissatisfied with the play that I wrote before it. And it's like
For all the birth of all great plays.
Yeah, right. Just so sick of that play, I gotta write a different one. Which is true. But the immediate germinal inspiration from it was getting done with my play, The Blameless, which is also about a family that's dealt with this profound situation. And in that play, I was trying very consciously to do a thing with form, where it was formally a comedy dealing with tragic content. And I left getting done with the first draft of that play feeling like I didn't quite marry the two as well as I had wanted to. And a consequence of that was I felt like I didn't let the family express what they had been through enough. And I felt like this question of how much can we forgive was introduced and then not really fully lived in. So something about this play came from just a want to go deeper into those and to not worry about doing something formally comedic or formally tragic, to just live with characters in this kind of situation and try to tell their truths as much as I could.
How did you find that balance though? Because it feels like the play is both about that event and how they've dealt with it, and also it's not about that. We don't spend a lot of time on that event. We spend all this other time with just their family dynamic.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's sort of two-pronged. Reading these plays that I've loved and adored, and watching how much enjoyment we can get out of just spending time with lovely people. And I think it took me a long time as an artist and a professional to be like, oh, there's theatrical worth in that. Like, these people are lovely to be around, and we can just do that. And that in itself is a theatrical event. And then also a reflection on something that I've been experiencing and been getting to know in my own life, that you laugh through painful times. You love the people around you harder and deeper in the painful times. And of course, sometimes there's conflicts that you have to resolve, and there's unspoken things that have to eventually be spoken. But just because people are in pain doesn't mean that they're not funny, and that they're not fun, and that they're not taking care of each other. So I think that two-pronged thing led to the dynamic in the play.
What are your goals for this process, this reading?
So the goals, I think we were just talking about this before. The goals revolve around specific characters and making sure that they have their proper trajectories through the play.
And these are the non-core family members,
right? There's a couple characters in the play that are partners to people in the family, and there's a lot going on for this family, and it's making sure that they have their proper emotional weight, and that they have their clearest trajectory, and that they get to stick up for themselves a bit, because the main family has a lot to work through, but naturally part of the story is figuring out how do these other characters integrate into this family. Part of the conflict of the play is how do we become a new family. So it's really investigating those trajectories for me is what I'm looking forward to.
I love so much that I feel like this play deals like so intimately and with so much heart and humor with like the language of a family and like how every family just has their own language and anybody coming into that family has to either learn that language or like die trying.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, like saying that and like also learning new language in the family, right? Like the family learning how to say things in a new way, or the family learning how to see things in a new way. It's really hard to do, you know?
I remember in one of the workshops you were kind of talking about one of like the emotional impulses for the play, or kind of around how society responds to people who have been through trauma. Do you remember that?
And like how society responds to people who've been through trauma, and also how the society itself deals with a trauma. And there's this really noble, or this really compassionate urge to say we have to heal, right? Like, let's come together and let's heal. And of course, why wouldn't you want that? That's a good thing to want. It's a good thing to aim for. But on the other side of it, or at least underneath saying that, you have to know what the wound is, right? And you have to know the pain the wound is causing before you can heal it. It's not as simple as saying, we're going to be better now. You have to know the history of the wound, how it happened, and you have to know what the person experiencing the wound is going through before you can actually address it. So something in this play was responding to that feeling of wanting to heal. And when I was hearing that, let's come together and let's heal, wanting to take part in that, but then also this bit of resistance that I felt in myself of, well, I feel like there's other things we need to understand before we can make that step.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about it as like the emotional equivalent of like somebody just bleeding and just yelling at them like, why are you healing? Why are you healing?
Right. There's a few things we have to take care of before we can get to that. Right.
Okay, so this is always such a hard question because I feel like the answer can absolutely just be no. But is there a specific thing that you feel like you want the audience to carry away from this play?
I've really, at this point that we are talking, I feel like every play that I write, I'm just happy if people walk away having felt something deeply for another human being, having gotten a few laughs and have gotten some tears out. Like asking for anything beyond that feels like greedy and selfish, or even like naive. Like I don't know what any individual is going to come in with, and I don't know what they're going to leave with. So I always just hope that the theatrical event is feeling for other people, having a good time, and also getting some excess emotion that's been stored up, getting that out. Those are always my goals.
Hi, I'm Krista.
And I'm Nick.
And you should definitely come to the reading of Nick Gandiello's brilliant play, Cicada, on May 7th. Come.
Hope to see you there.